record. Okay, right now, the music keeps playing on, whatever happens in the world. And we have introduced it on my show a re-invitation from a past guest, male solo independent artist, Vince Freeman. He's back with me to chat about what he's been up to and maybe share some news about some new music as well. First up, Vince, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm sort of right in the middle of another tour, slightly bigger one this time, and yeah, loving it.
Great. And I can see you're in a hotel room there, if my hunch is
Well,
correct.
actually, this is my wife's. She's a beauty therapist, so this is her treatment room. She hasn't got any treatments today,
Oh, it
so
looks good anyway.
I'm actually at home for like just for today, and
Yeah,
then back out on the road.
yeah, cool. How's the touring life going, speaking of hotels and everything?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I mean, I think this tour, although it's kind of long, like 32 dates over like 7 weeks, it's kind of very well thought out. So I haven't actually been away from home for more than maybe 4 days, which is lovely when you've got a young family
Yeah.
growing up.
But I know you're very passionate about what you do, and this is what you enjoy doing, like touring.
Yeah,
I was chatting to a
yeah, I
friend
love it.
actually, and he says like, you know, to put a tour all together, it's quite a military operation.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm just, I guess I'm sort of a smaller part of a bigger cog with this one. I'm touring with Scouting for Girls,
Yeah,
and I'm opening for them, but it is literally a military operation.
yeah,
It's, they're on a tour bus, they finish a show, they overnight on the tour bus, to the next venue. And not only that, they're carrying a sound crew, a lighting crew
yeah,
that are kind of like loading in and taking out like
yeah.
every single day. And then there's tour managers, and yeah, it's quite something.
Yeah, I know it's quite interesting. I don't get a chance to talk about the logistics of these things, but essentially we're here to talk about your new music. But following on to that, my next question I'm going to ask you, last time we both encountered, you were doing an intimate gig at the Sunflower Lounge in Birmingham. That was like April time early this year.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
what you been up to since then? Did you go to the States at all?
So there was plans to go to the States. I think we talked about that last time. So I was very, very nearly sort of doing the Midwest part of Jason Mraz's tour as the opening act. In the end, it was just difficult with visas and things like that. And we're still in touch with their team, and looking hopefully to do
Yeah.
something next year. Yeah, following on from the tour, what have I been up to? I've just been kind of living my best life. Really, it's
Yeah,
been
brilliant.
been a wicked ride. We've done a load of shows in the summer festivals. Played a Lake Fest. I don't know whether you've heard of that, but that's
Yeah.
like 20,000 odd. And I got to open for a living legend. I got to open for Van Morrison at Forest Live, and the Hot House Flowers. It
Oh
was
wow.
amazing. So that was
Congrats.
just kind of leading into the autumn.
Yeah, congrats on that. So
Right.
I know
Thanks, man.
when things don't necessarily happen, it can be a bit disheartening, but there's always next time, isn't there?
Yeah,
States.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I think having been, involved with music and the music industry for as long as I have,
Yeah.
you get to know that it's kind of it's a very difficult mistress,
Hmm.
you know, and people get more, you get more no's than you get yeses. I think that's kind of almost like an industry standard.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't really happen any other way, and then
Yeah.
you just got to roll with the punches and get back up and get out there.
Cool. Well, it seems like you're doing really well for yourself. And so like Vince Freeman, so for the people who haven't listened to your music before or my interviews with you,
Yeah,
can you just tell them a little bit about about yourself, kind of like the styles of music you enjoy doing, performing.
yeah. I guess I mean. I've been a singer-songwriter now for, a couple of decades, and I think what I enjoy doing now is, I guess there's three places I feel at home. One is at home. The second place is in a studio, and the third place is live on stage in front of a mic. I feel like I'm very lucky to, have the opportunity to have a conversation you know, with large numbers of people in one go. Um, and I guess that's sort of leads on to the album. The album's called Scars, Ghosts, and Glory. I like to think that it's very honest, and it's kind
Mhm.
of it's things that have happened to me. It's all the scars that I've picked up along the way, all the ghosts, all the things that I kind of go, God, I wonder if I should have done, and then all the little wins, all the glory, that you pick up on a sometimes a daily basis, sometimes every now and then, you know.
That's cool. And let's go straight into talking about the new album then. So he says Scars, Ghosts, and Glory. Would you say it's like an album looking back, but also having hope for the future as well?
Yeah, I guess it's not, even though it is kind of, it's about a life led. It's more about kind of acceptance. It's about kind of going, well, hey, I might have a couple of grey hairs, but I've still got stuff to do.
That's true. I suppose it happens to all of us, doesn't it? The grey hairs and
Yeah,
growing old,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And to be honest with you, I, I've I try really hard to kind of be in the moment that I'm in now. That's
Yeah,
difficult, and that's really hard for anybody. Everybody has ambitions and goals that they look towards,
yeah.
and worries that they might not be able to pay the bills next month and all that kind of stuff. But um, I try to sort of live as much as I can in the moment, and be grateful for the place I'm in.
That's good to hear. What was the recording process like putting this album together? Just for example, like the length of time it took you to make it, who you worked with, because I know you put your heart and soul into this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think, for anybody who's listening and is interested in the process of an album, there's a thing called pre-production. And I guess, the easiest way to explain that is kind of like the development of ideas. And so, the pre-production, you know, probably took about 10, 15 years in places, Um, the actual album, once we, started moving, took about 5 months.
Hmm.
Um, and that's, I went, I found a producer that was, really admired, and we did a few writing
Hmm.
sessions together before, getting a room and looking at doing the album.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Cool. And when you say like 5 months, like to make the album, like in the
yeah,
studio, are you in there like on a continual basis? Like, is it you don't see much of the outside world?
yeah, two grown men in a box with no windows. um, Yeah, I mean, I guess that's spoils the illusion a little bit, but yeah. So I essentially commuted from Cheltenham to London every week for five months or so. So I would get home late, about 10 o'clock in the evening on a Friday, do all my washing, say hello to the kids, and then give them a kiss goodbye on Sunday afternoon and travel back down to London to start again.
Wow, that's cool. Cheltenham train station. I can relate to
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was an amazing, but like I don't want to say hard work because I love doing what I do. No,
Hmm.
it never feels like hard work, but I guess it was very intense. You know, it was sort of every single day.
Yeah.
Looking at your creations with a fine-tooth comb and just constantly asking the question, can it be better?
It's paying off though, or has paid off for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting now.
Mm.
It's 20 years in, essentially 20 years in the making this album, and I think I've said to you before, um, I I've never been prouder of anything creative that I've done. Obviously, I'm proud of my kids. But in terms of music, art, and songwriting, I wouldn't change a note on this album, and I just, genuinely hope that lots of people get to hear it.
Yeah. That's amazing. I think David Jason once says if you get a chance to do what you enjoy, make a living from it, you've made it. You're there.
Yeah, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very true. Just wanted to
yeah,
touch on some of the tracks on your new album as well. Track two is called the Devils. Could that be
yeah,
based on someone like facing their personal demons? And just to note, you worked with Freddie Legrand on this one?
yeah, yeah. So the so the original track went out with Fedde Legrand, and I kind of felt it was kind of important for me. It always felt like a bluesy track to me rather than a dance track. So I kind of wanted to sort of do my own, how I saw the song, and it is that sort of devil's on your shoulder.
Hmm.
It's that conscience that that you live with. Do you or do you not? And I think I think sometimes for me the whole idea from Devils was the fact that I'd kind of got to a place in my life. This was about sort of maybe 10 years ago. I got to a place in my life where I was kind of like I was being paid, really well to perform other people's songs for, important people around the world. And I kind of was constantly kind of feeling that maybe I'd sold my soul a little bit,
Hmm.
you know. And so it was that question that kind of spawned the idea for Devils.
Cool. And then track three, that this leads on to Passing By. I believe that's one of your lead singles off your new LP album,
Yep.
Passing By.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think most people will have a story or two from the pandemic. Mine isn't extraordinary. Um, like with many musicians, songwriters, people in the creative world, hospitality, it just shut down. And so I had to find another way of making money. I converted a horse box into a coffee truck and and tried to make some money from selling coffee. Um, so I guess the inspiration for Passing By came from that. I spent many hours, let me tell you, um, standing in my horse box, just watching people pass me by.
Yeah.
And it would be hours and hours and hours. I think the I think the worst day was I made 50p, and that was because somebody found it on the floor and just gave it to me. But it was I found it at times fascinating, watching, the window of my hot horse box was about 180 degrees. So you just see this small,
Mm.
tiny little snippet of people's lives as they run past or walk past or, you know, have an argument in the middle of the street and all that kind of stuff. And so that was the idea. I very often kind of felt invisible. Am I just passing by? Does it matter? And so that's the idea
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense now when you see like the world, passing by, everyone's going around their own business.
Yeah.
And a complete random question, but can you still stand the smell of coffee?
Yeah, I still love coffee.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I like to think I served a decent cup of coffee, but I guess the business is still running, by the way. It's not mine anymore. I passed it on to a girl that helped me, a huge amount during the pandemic. So she now has the business. So I guess it sort of did all right. But no, it hasn't put me off coffee.
Cool. Better chat about your next thing as well. I wanted to touch on Stardust as well. That's a positive number. Would you say that's a celebratory album track? Stardust.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it was important to, to have Stardust in there. One, because it's one of the oldest tracks. Um, but two, it's just a celebration of, you know, togetherness, fate, destiny, whatever you, however you like to call it. I mean, I guess at heart, even with all these kind of like, heavy subject matters and sort of, heavy lyrics, at heart, I'm a hopeless romantic, you know. I like the idea. I love the idea of sliding doors and, four weddings and a funeral and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And that's for me what Stardust is about. At the end of the day, if you break us all down to dust, we're all the same,
Hmm.
and I love the idea that there is, there is a universal gravitational pull between, you know, two souls that are meant to be together.
Mm. That's a good thing about music as well. It's a universal language, how everyone has their disagreements and, you know, clash of interests or what they believe in. Music just brings people together. It's a universal language.
Yeah, of course it does.
It's just great that we've got that, isn't it, during these times?
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Cool. And yeah, the album sleeve cover is very effective. You're using some nice graphics on there. Did you have any input doing that at all?
Well, yeah, I guess so. So basically, I worked almost well exclusively with a chap called Chris Bolton. He's an incredible photographer. And for those of you that get to see the album cover, you will be mistaken for thinking that there is any like graphic effects on those photos. They are the photos as they were taken in the studio.
Oh,
Um, he's very experimental. We used projectors to project images onto my body, and he developed this kind of like camera motion uh, as he took the shots to create this otherworldly,
mm,
type effect. And yeah, it's been a real pleasure working with Chris. And I think the resulting images are quite striking.
mm. Yeah, it is. It does stand out. Would you say that's a positive light? Speaking, that effect that you're trying to capture on the album.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, there is a certain element of kind of, you know, dark and light, heaven and hell, good and bad, wins and losses.
Yeah,
There is a dichotomy to the album, and I feel like the imagery kind of, reflects that.
yeah. That's amazing. Just wanted to touch on your tour as well. I know you got a string of dates. You're halfway in the middle of the tour. Um,
Yeah.
where's best where people can find your dates, where people can see a concert, like a website or something they can
Yeah,
just.
it's really easy. Just go to vincefreeman.com,
Mm.
and I guess that's the best landing page for anybody who doesn't know me to be able to find my socials. If you're interested, you can buy the album there and find all my dates
Brilliant.
as well.
What's the last date you're touring till around?
I think it's the 16th of November.
Oh, brilliant. So yeah, this interview will be aired long by then for you.
Wonderful.
So yeah, get our listeners to recommend checking your website to see if you're still playing in the town near them. You do everywhere,
Great
don't you?
stuff.
It's a big tour, this
Yeah.
one.
Oh yeah, really big tour. And big venues as well. Like I think the average audience is about 1,500 on this
Mm.
tour,
They're a good
which
crowd
is
as well. I saw Scouting for Girls in Liverpool. They know how to put on
yeah.
a good show.
Oh, they do. They do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Roy. I don't know how he does it every night.
Mm, mm. I still play his song "She's So Lovely" to this very day, and that yeah,
Yeah.
20 years old maybe around that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Still,
it is.
still
Yeah,
gets people dancing, especially the
that's right.
students.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, lovely chatting with you today. And do you want me to play one of your singles on my show now for you, right on after
Yeah.
this interview? Which one
Yeah,
would you
that'd
like
be
me to
great.
play?
Oh. Go on, now you're asking. Let's go with Stardust. Let's go with like well, a celebration of life, to end the
Brilliant.
show with.
Okay, then we'll do that. Well, Vince Freeman, thanks for the catch up, and we're just we're expanding a little bit about yourself, and it's great catching up with you. And very best of luck with this album and tour as well.
Thanks very much, Dan.
Yeah,
Nice to see you
yeah.
again.
Nice to see you again. Cheers a million. All right.
Cheers.